but we do have some clips to watch. Who's ready for clips? Clips. So here's the never-ending story. Here is Konnan responding to Vince Russo's Twitter insults. And let's try and get through this. If this triggers me, if Disco's pissing me off, Disco Inferno here. Again, I did a show where with Benjamin, with Jeff Lane, with Husey, and myself, and we talked about the feud between K100, the very real feud between K100 and the brand. And so this is sort of like Konnan's response to the heat they've been getting from Vince Russo on Twitter.
And basically we had said that was the reason we commented is something obviously Vince would say. All right. So Joe, pull up the next tweet. Okay, so then, all right, this week, the original emailer sent us in an apology because he said that, like, okay, he did what he posted was a quote from Rhea Ripley from 3 years ago. Okay, that Vince said Rhea Ripley isn't over, an actual quote. All right, so Vince did say that. So when he set the record and says he never said that and stuff, it's like, wait a minute, you did say this. It's like, so our point of like, we were commenting on it because that is something you would obviously say is absolutely correct. So there's no like, Matt, just because you did say it 3 years ago. Okay, so
3 years ago.
Then Jeff Blaine says they can never bash Meltzer or dirt sheets when their source of news is a mailbag in the Facebook group and they don't fact check anything. Well, it's like you guys should have fact checked yourself.
Here's the thing, man. I look at K100 as more of like a gossipy talking shit show, more in the vein of mine than like, oh, we're gonna break news. When Billy Boy, when he was on there breaking the hot news, that was one thing, but they don't really. That's not really a thing anymore,
Because to set the record, you said Vince never said that, but he did say that 3 years ago. To set the record, we've been saying, I said that 3 years ago, but that's not my opinion today. That would have been setting the record straight. Is that so? Are we on the right page? Am I being pretty simplistic in my explanation here? Would everybody agree with this, Joe? You and Konnan?
Yeah, I got you.
Konnan,
and Feeney, we were trying to get him on the show and shout him out. He's probably busy or whatever, but on the Husey show, I stood up for Feeney too a little bit. Well, I didn't stand up for him. It was just a matter of like, so poor Feeney's just trapped in the middle and he's getting heat. And Jeff Lane was like, yeah, he's like, listen, I don't hate Feeney. He's like, but I went off on Feeney. I implore you all to check that out.
You agree? This is pretty easy to follow along. Show the next tweet. So I said, okay, I am not wrong. Rhea Ripley is not over as a headline reported of something you said and claimed you didn't. You should have fact checked yourself. The fact would have been, I might have said it since all day. All I do is bury WWE for years now. So then the funny thing is, Joe, pull that tweet under it. Don't take those down.
Well, I have to change it individually when I change the screen.
Well, just keep up the one you had. Okay. So it says, no,
hey, Disco, let him produce the show.
No, don't go back to the other one I just had. All right. So then the one under that. I said those exact words today on the last episode of Time Out that I recorded without you today. The fact is that you and Konnan framed it like I just made that statement about her today. You know it and I know it. Okay, wait a second, dude. You said last week you didn't say it. Now you're moving the goalposts. Okay, when you didn't realize you had actually said it before, you're moving the goalposts and said that we're trying to frame it like you said today.
This is like a 7th grader argument against each other. And there's people who legit, like Vince Russo's like, I can't even do my job with Disco anymore, bro.
You didn't even know that you hadn't said it yet. So how would we know? So we reported something that you said, which you obviously said. And that's it. That's the discussion. But they're trying to say now that we should have known that he said that 3 years ago when he didn't even know he said that 3 years ago. It's so something like, bro, this guy's freaking out. I'm like, dude, whatever. He keeps calling us shills. I want a job there. Let's fast forward. Okay, when I die and I've never worked for the WWE, you can put on my grave. I was never looking for a job there, right? But I'm not going to go work there.
When I die, I want to go to hell because I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to tell.
I make enough money doing this, but I just want to get that out that Vince and Jeff they're trying to move the goalpost now after saying that he never said it. Now he's saying, I did say it, but it was 3 years ago. Well, you should just said that right off the bat and there'd be no problem here. That's all he had to say. I said that 3 years ago. But now they're still mad at us because we're framing it like you said today. It's like, yeah, because we thought that's something you would say today, and so did you. Except you didn't think you'd ever said it. So whatever. So that's I just want to get that out of the way.
I didn't say it. You said it.
Done with that final.
Did you want to talk about the last tweet or no?
What does it say? Well, he's talking about the 3 years ago thing. It's just stupid. He's
So
moving
he
the goalposts.
actually-
He's changing the whole thing from him saying I never said it to saying, okay, I did say it 3 years ago, but you tried to. It's like, come on, dude. You said you never said it, but you had.
Who fucking cares?
Said it before, which is what we thought is something that you would say, which you had. Period. This is the end of the discussion here.
So he actually canceled timeout, though. You're no longer doing a show with Vince.
Yeah, so this was for real, and I thought like they were working this whole bit, and then Jeff Lane gets on the thing, and we're about to go live, and Jeff's like, "No, this is real, dude." Like this, it was funny too. I opened Hughesy's show doing fucking my Vince Russo impression to Jeff. I'm like, just get him to pop, and I think I made him chuckle a little bit, but I was kind of nervous doing it to him. I didn't want to go too hard, so I don't know if it was my best efforts, but he's a cool guy. But he was like, no, this shit's for real. And I'm like, damn. And then I find out as we're doing the stream, like, yeah, this is legit. And Disco, I believe, confirms it here. Like they canceled their fucking show that I think was popular. I think that was one of their shows, or the show that got the most numbers on the brand or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I think that's what Jeff said. He can correct me.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Vince is like trying to talk to a brick wall, you know? Like we could talk about television has a WWE done, Joe?
Well, Raw started in 93.
So how many thousands? It's well over thousands of shows, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I want to read you just a small sample size here. This is the argument that they're forwarding. Okay, so to make it simple for people to understand, right? The Miami Dolphins year 2023, Konnan, that's one of your teams, right?
Right.
Okay, against Los Angeles, they scored 36 points. Game 2 against New England, they scored 24 points. Game 3 against Denver, they scored 70 points. Game 4 against Buffalo, they scored 20. Game 5 against New York, they scored 31. Game 6 against Carolina, 42. Game 7 against Philadelphia, 17. Bro, their argument is saying like they scored 17 points against Philadelphia. That'd be like saying, bro, they're down 53 points from their scoring because they scored 70 points.
That's a pretty fucking cooked analogy. I don't think Disco. Love you, bud, but I mean, I don't know if that's the fucking analogy. I get what he's getting at, right? Like WWE has had 10 million people watching them, and then they've had fucking 30 million on Closer, Andre versus Hogan. They had 1 million watching, 2 million. You know what I mean? They've been all over the place. Now, where I think the better analogy, or I don't even know if it's an analogy, just like, okay, the debut show on Netflix did 5 point whatever million. Ever since then, they've done like the same number, like 2.89, whatever the fuck million. In the 2 million plus, essentially, is what they've done every show since. So if they can maintain that, and like Netflix fucked up, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they're like, no, it's not worth it for all the PLEs and all that shit. With the ESPN deal and all that stuff. So who fucking knows? There's a lot of people, like I'll give Ben Hameen points where he's like, listen, there's a reason people aren't jumping. Like some of these streamers like didn't jump to keep fucking WWE and they had to go to ESPN and all this shit. But I also look at it as WWE's plan, I think, is to go as global as possible. And when it's like Netflix, ESPN, like that's just all the mainstream of the mainstream sports and entertainment, cream of the crop. Global. I think that's like their long-term vision for it, and they're making like insane fucking deals. So Disco's right in that they're making the biggest deals of like all time. Therefore, you could argue it's like the biggest it's ever been, especially with social media impressions. If you factor in social media and how much people just watch it online, you could argue there's more fans than the Attitude Era and shit. Now, I'm not going to sit there and make these arguments because I'm not Dave Meltzer. I'd be talking out of my ass. I'd have to really research that. I don't know. But if you made that argument, though, If someone's like, no, dude, they did 70 million on this one clip. Tell me another time 70 million. Yeah, but the same person watched it 5 times. Yeah, but even so, if you divide by I don't know. That's where Switchblade, someone fucking smarter than me, Dave Meltzer, has got to come in, add 30%, flip it and reverse it, all that shit, and then figure it out. But I just don't think it's doom and gloom for WWE. I think it's the opposite, and we see that in the way that like Hollywood will go on pause for WWE now. Hollywood's hurting and shit. It is. Let's be honest. They're hurting as well. So it's like, how much of that is them reducing themselves down? Like, have they stepped down to pro wrestling's level, or has pro wrestling stepped up? I think it's a meet in the middle. And why do I think that? Because the sellouts and everything. Like, if they weren't selling out, you'd have a fucking case to make. But it's the fact that everywhere they go, they're charging up the ass insane numbers and they're selling out insane numbers. It's like, you can't really argue with how popular WWE is right now. I don't give a fuck if someone watches 1 million on Raw. Like, people don't get it. If AEW had 500,000 viewers on Dynamite, but they were going to fucking 10,000 seaters and selling them out every fucking, like, no one could clown that. We'd all be like, fuck, man, those max numbers must be real, but we can't. It doesn't matter because the attendances aren't there. That's why with WWE, it's like, yeah, there's the streaming numbers, but do you know how many people just consume shit in almost every section of entertainment? The majority of people consume shit just online as much as possible. Does that make sense, guys? So like, the cord cutters, exactly. So WWE, if there's an abundance of cord cutters that are exponentially, invisibly growing AEW's numbers, then that means you could say tenfold for WWE's, and they might be bigger than even they've ever been before. It's hard to measure. But ultimately, the houses, I think, and the record-setting fucking deals, and the ESPN, and the different countries that are, all of those things, I think we can point to and go, we can quantify, we can use that shit to quantify or come to the conclusion they're doing really fucking well and are super popular right now. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
It's 5 weeks ago. That's how stupid that argument is. No, you average 30 points a game, which is like their basic average. They try to fudge numbers and like, I don't know, man. It's like hopeless what they're trying to do. They're trying to, paint this picture that the WWE sucks, which is in this landscape when they're making so much money and keep getting raises, keep making deals, keep getting raises on their rights fees. Bro, the ESPN couldn't even wait to start the beginning of the year now, Cody. You see that? ESPN starting their shows like in September. It's like
next Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's in September, isn't it? September 20th, I thought.
Yeah, it's like a month.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The one that's
right.
competing with the AEW show, yeah.
All right, well, speaking of WWE, let's get into the
let me ask real quick. So, Joe.
Yeah, no, Disco's absolutely right. I agree with him fully on this. And I do understand, though, the argument on like Ben Hameen and Jeff Lane's side and shit. Like, yeah, it's down from the Netflix debut, but that was like a PLE. That was like a fucking, hey, you need to tune in to see this fucking thing. Monday Night Raw on Netflix, it was just like a celebrity affair with The Rock and shit.
Think about this whole thing. I know you're a big admirer of Jeff Lane because you guys both do the same thing. But what do you think about this whole thing?
I think that they were way too touchy about it. They know how the show rolls, and Vince has known Disco for decades. He's known you for decades. And, nobody's taking personal shots. Nobody's trying to harm their business, which is, I think, how Jeff kind of framed it. Like when you say people are leaving, you make it sound like this.
Yeah, Jeff went off and he was like, well, now this is like affecting people getting paid and shit. And so he went off on Feeney, but he's like, I don't wish any ill will towards them, but let's hear Feeney's response here.
I was just trying to find out from our audience what the problem
was. Read all the letters.
Right, because we had heard that from people saying, well, Vince is too negative. I said, okay, well, explain to me what made you leave the brand. And someone wrote in and Jeff was like, now you're fishing for negativity against our show and it could hurt the business and stuff. So
well,
I just think
you can make up an excuse for anything. You can justify anything. You can be offended by anything. I mean, but at the end of the day, this actually started because we got like 2 letters in 2 weeks about complaining about Vince. And I don't think we'd ever gotten that. So I asked, what's the problem over there? More people started to write in. Of course, now they look at it as us fishing for negativity because they think we have something against them. But
well, I mean, 2 people. So ignore that shit.
let me explain something to Vince. The reason I don't answer him back on Twitter, and bro, I could bury you like you have no idea. I'm very poisonous when I want to be, is because, and I've said this before, and this holds true. For you to insult me, I must value your opinion, and I don't. I really don't care what you say about me. You're bringing up the fact that we're shills and we're this and we're that, and you're taking it somewhere else just to make yourself look good because, and Disco used a word that I've been using for years with you, which is drama queen. You're always a victim. You're never wrong. Everybody's against you. You're always right, you know, and sometimes you need to be self-introspective. We have nothing against you or Jeff, but Jeff, bro, don't come at me with your lame, limp, nothing happening. Nobody knows who you are.
Jesus
or
Christ.
before you got on Vince's show, and even then, the only people that know you are the brand members. Shut your pie hole, bro. No heat with
Oh
Vince,
my God.
right? Really, no heat with Vince. But I will say this to Vince: it's very striking to me that when everybody piled up on you, Disco always defended you. All he's telling you is the truth. Bro, he told me, and I brought this up yesterday. He told me the truth about a month ago when he said, hey, your commentary on When Worlds Collide was not good. Did I scream? Did I stop talking to him? Did I call you in private and say, hey, I can't believe you buried me on the show? Did I tell Joe, hey, take that out of there? No. He was right. And you got to.
Guys, it's all content. Like, they're all both about drama, both sides of it. We'll start some drama. No drama. So don't pull on my hand, boy. You ain't my man, boy. Listen, it's all content. It's all content. We're all content, essentially. Whether you're fucking interviewing someone, whether you're talking about someone else, whether you're talking about this happened in the news. Well, what was it? It was people doing shit. Or this guy did this thing. Did you see this show? Oh, what is it comprised of? People who animated a thing, people who acted in a thing. It's all just people reacting to people. That's all anything is. That's all any TV's ever been. You're reacting to people pretending to be other people. I'm a dude playing a dude who forgets he's a real dude. Like, whatever. And I love Konnan and these guys over here. Over here now. I love the K100 boys. But like oh, you guys just only do the drama. Everybody only does the drama. That's all anyone does, okay?
Be truthful to yourself.
What are songs about? People doing shit, other people. Hey man, oh, it's a sweet book. What's it about? Like some guy did some shit, and then some shit happened to this other guy, and then the two guys became friends, and then they did some shit. You know, like that's what everything is. Everything is just people doing shit. Okay, hello.
You know, and that's the problem with you guys. You're too sensitive. It's cool for you to bury him and make this giant puppet of him and all the other that you've done to him, and he takes it in good nature because that's the type of person he is. But far be it for him to call you out on something which you're actually wrong on, and then you do this. But there will be no tit for tat on Twitter. You know, any comments I make, I'll make on the show.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Yo, what's up?
Hell yeah. I thought K-Dog was gonna like start screaming and shit, you know? So speaking of screaming and shit, and I have no comment on that. I don't know. I'll get Jeff Lane. I'll DM him and see if he'll come on the show. And now I said it out in the public, so the pressure's on. No, he's a cool guy. It was good to meet him.